Okay, so I can't seem to shut up about my current supplement lineup. One brand in particular that I am absolutely obsessed with, I've even got my mom hooked on it, she calls me daily to talk about it, is Array. I tell everyone about their signature bloat supplement and it's actually magic. I was in Colorado last week and I had the most magnificent, slightly sexual experience eating this burger. And I think indulging is so important when your body is craving it. And the reason I love bloat is because I can take it right after and not feel all gross and inflamed. And it immediately takes effect and doesn't make me feel bloated. They use all natural ingredients and have tons of products that you can choose from on their site. I recently had Sif, the co-founder of Array, on the show, so you can go back and listen to that episode if you want to learn more about the brand and their product line. But all you have to do is go to their website, array.com. That's ARRAE.com. And if you like what you see, you can use code Veronica15 at checkout for 15% off your purchase. All you have to do is use code Veronica15. That's VERONICA 15 at checkout for 15% off Array. Hello, and welcome back to Martinis and Bikinis. I am your hostess, Veronica Droulia. I was in Nashville a couple months ago and was able to check out the Skin Bar, which is Nashville's top luxury medical spa that offers a wide variety of non-invasive injectable treatments such as Sculptra BBL, Botox, lip fillers, PRP treatments, facials, lash lifts, and they're constantly adding more services to their lineup to enhance your natural beauty. I had the pleasure of meeting Kristin, the founder and principal injector of the Skin Bar, and she is absolutely incredible with her craft and really focuses on building confidence in her patients. She's a board certified nurse practitioner and actually began in emergency medicine before perfecting the art of aesthetic injections and anti-aging techniques. She's extremely well versed in all things neurotoxin, dermal fillers, Sculptra, PRFM treatments, and so much more. In this episode, we are chatting all things skin routines, and I'm so mad because she mentioned having a 12-step skincare routine, and we didn't even scratch the surface with that. So we're just going to have her back on to talk about that. But we did talk about some approachable ways to a sustainable skincare routine, elevating your natural beauty through neurotoxin and filler, reducing fine lines through services like microneedling and aqua glow, the positive effects of masseter Botox, and her wedding prep routines. This was such a fun episode, and I can't wait to chat all things beauty with you guys with Nashville's booty queen. Yeah, we're talking treating the whole body and so much more today on the show. So, without further ado, please welcome Kristin Torres to Martinis and Bikinis. Hello, and welcome to Martinis and Bikinis, the podcast for everything under the sun. I am your hostess, Veronica Droulia, and I am here to help you navigate your 20s through all things lifestyle, beauty, and fashion. So, if you're ready, let's dive into today's episode. Well, Kristin, welcome to Martinis and Bikinis.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. This is so funny because I'm in Nashville. Mm-hmm. It's where you live. Mm-hmm. And I met you 2 days ago. Yeah. And now we're sitting here.
Amazing.
But I actually went to your med spa, the Skin Bar, which is so beautiful.
Thank you.
And you designed it yourself. And after working in more clinical places, you really just took it into your own and made it this really beautiful space. And
thank you.
I got your oxygen facial. Mm-hmm. And
you are glowing. We have this glazed donut look for you. I love it.
No, seriously. The next morning I woke up and was glowing, and I want to get into all of that.
Yeah.
But usually how I like to start these off is with something I like to call the roots. And it just gives people more of an idea of who you are, your story.
Sure.
Anything you want to share? Maybe things people don't know about you. Literally, just share whatever you feel comfortable with, starting from
I'm an
wherever.
Open book, so...
Okay, yes. Let's get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm from Staten Island, New York. Born and raised there. So I became a nurse at the age of 20. So I was actually a nurse before I was even able to have a sip of alcohol.
Wow.
Yes. So I knew that I wanted to be in aesthetics, but before I did that, I figured that I have to know more than just the face. So I wanted to know the body. So I actually have a background in trauma ER. And I did that for about 5 to 6 years as I was going through nurse practitioner school. And then once I pretty much was done with nurse practitioner school, I knew that I wanted to be in aesthetics. So I left all the blood and the gore and all of that stuff behind. And I absolutely love that I have that background because now I don't feel uncomfortable in any situations. I pretty much can just kind of think on my feet really quickly. And at the skin bar, God forbid anybody, because people do faint when you give them lip filler and all these things. Yeah. But I stay super calm, because I'm used to that kind of environment. But yeah, that's pretty much my medical story, at least. Yes, like I said, so New York, born and raised, and absolutely never thought that I would leave New York until one day. It wasn't even my idea. One of my girlfriends had asked me, hey, do you want to move to Tampa? And I was like, Tampa, Florida? Like, no, this is so weird. But then kind of thinking about it, I was like, well, I don't really have too much going on in New York that's going to keep me here. So let me see. So it was so funny. I told my parents, and I'm so incredibly close with both of my parents. My dad was like on his hands and knees. If you knew my dad, you would understand this. He was like crying. He was like, Kristin, like, what can I do to let you stay? And I'm like, Dad, this isn't about you. Like, this is just about me. Like, let me just spread my wings, right? So I go and I'm starting to get these interviews. And both of my parents are like, it's not going to happen. Like, you can't just get like a job on the spot. So we go on a Thursday. It was like 2 Thursdays from the day that I told them that I might want to kind of explore Tampa. And I had an interview at the hospital there. It was a level 1 trauma hospital. And I got all 3 on spot, all 3 of the jobs that I was interviewing for. So I walked out and I was like, Mom, I guess we're doing this. So then walked across the street to where the apartment complex was and just walked right in and said, okay, I'm going to move here in 2 weeks. And I did it. So what's so funny is that girl who had asked me to move to Tampa never did it. So I just did it on my own, didn't know one person, and then just kind of jumped into it. And yeah, that's kind of my story on that part of it. And then I had a previous relationship, which was bringing me to Nashville. So I was there for about 6 years in Tampa. And then it was time to kind of move. And I loved Nashville. Never been here one time. Literally just picked up and moved without exploring at all. So my family and we got here on Halloween. And it was a nightmare because if you ever have seen like Broadway on Halloween, I mean, it's insane. And they were like, Kristin, what did you do? Like, why would you do this? And I was like, it's going to all work out. And then, I just got into a plastic surgery office down here, just kept doing aesthetics. And eventually, so the skin bar is now open 1 year.
Oh my gosh, congrats.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we hit a year in April. Super proud of that. Got into a space and just kind of wanted to have my own so that I can make patients feel like I wanted them to be treated. You know what I mean? Like, not like a number. We have personal conversations.
Right.
You came into the skin bar, so you see it's like boutique-y. So it's like that small, intimate vibe. So that's really what I wanted.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like it's such a significant jump to go from being in like trauma ER to aesthetics and now owning your own business. What was that transition like? It's
been a whirlwind, honestly, and it's such an exciting one. I think that I'm still catching up to it because it's only a year in and I'm just trying to make the skin bar just everything that I want it to be. So yes, right now we are a med spa and we do anything from, like the Botox and the neurotoxins to fillers and microneedling. But I really would love to kind of push it a little bit more towards that regenerative medicine because I think that's where we're going with some biostimulation, some really good hydration. So we'll see that in the skin bar sometime soon.
For sure. And I feel like with your background, it's just perfect. Yes. And I feel like there's not really a space for that here.
For sure.
I got your oxygen facial, like I said earlier. And I've been traveling and I was in high elevation. And I think just like being on the plane makes my skin so congested, so dried out. And I was putting Aquaphor all over my face. Don't know why. I feel like you always hear about like slugging and just trying to like keep moisture in your face. So I obviously got some bad information because you told me immediately, why the hell were you doing that? And you walked me through the whole facial. And I would love for you to explain what that service is and why it was so good that I got treated that way after all the traveling I'd been doing.
For sure. Well, let's just start with the Aquaphor.
Yeah, let's start with that mishap.
That was just so incredibly occlusive to the skin, and you're just really oppressing your skin. So when you said that, I was just like, okay, you know,
she's crazy.
That's all right. But like, how slick and like oily did you look on the plane, by the way?
Oh, so I was putting it in like my chin area, under my eyes, like kind of near my nose. On my lips. So I wasn't putting it like all over my face.
I'm just picturing you with like Aquaphor, like
smeared on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's so funny because I'm one of those girls that will put a face mask on a plane, like sheet mask on, like rose quartz mask on. Like I do not care. And I even noticed like putting Aquaphor all over my face, I looked absolutely insane. And I was like, I need to chill.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you were going to gua sha and you needed something like slick to help you with it, I get it. Yeah. But just to not be, you know, dehydrated, I think that we can do a little bit better.
Yeah, we could do some things different.
I think we could do a little bit different. Yeah. So when you had come to me, you were pretty congested as well, right? So we had to kind of do those extractions too. And definitely had some dehydration of the skin. So we did a combination of things. So yes, we also started, like originally we did the dermaplaning, which I absolutely love. So with that blade, it's that medical blade that I kind of took to your face, and I was able to almost like shave off like what type of vellus hair and all those dead skin cells.
Yeah.
And you kind of told me that you're not exfoliating. And I could tell, because if we have like a shot of what came off your face, then you'd be like, okay, it was a lot of dead skin cells and, you know, just that vellus hair. Now, when you put your makeup on, you don't have that layer anymore. So you can tell the difference immediately. That's why I was like, touch your face.
Oh, it feels like a baby.
Yeah.
And I have so much peach fuzz. So like you were saying during the treatment, it helps you to apply your makeup on better.
Totally.
And I can totally see a difference.
Good.
And I also have enlarged pores. And I feel like that honestly makes a difference as well. Just like doing the extractions, like making sure that like everything is unclogged. And yeah, I feel like you really focused on like the decongestion. That's a hard word. The decongestion of my skin before like moving into like the actual treatment, which I feel like a lot of practitioners don't necessarily do.
Right.
They kind of just skip over it and hope for the best. And I think that
sometimes
was like,
I'm so surprised people come in, they're like, oh, I got a facial 2 weeks ago or like a month ago. And I'm like, really? Because did anybody like declog your pores? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why those steps are being missed, but they're incredibly important. Yeah. So that was one of the first things I wanted to do, was to just get out of your congestion. And then we were able to move into the hydro part of it. So I had, just depending on like what allergies people have and everything, I pretty much make like my own serums. And that was the motion that was kind of like sucking in your skin, but it was also allowing some of the serum to penetrate into the skin. So it's kind of like doing like that dual thing, which was great. And then that adds in the hydration. And then on top of it, yes, we finished with oxygen for you, because you were definitely not having that perfusion. So we needed to just get that oxygen into your tissues, nice and plump. And yeah, I mean, it explains everything of what you look like today with finishing off with that hydrojelly.
That was mask. So cool. I've been wanting to do one of those for so long. I always see so many reels, TikToks of people getting it done. And it was honestly kind of therapeutic and zen, because you have to keep it on for quite a bit before it gets like completely hardened. And it was crazy because it covers your eyes, it covers your mouth.
Yes.
So I just did like a little meditation while I was under the mask.
Exactly. I always have to ask people, I'm like, are you claustrophobic?
Right.
Because some people I feel like would have a little bit of an issue if they had to keep their eyes closed and their mouth closed. So I just make sure, but usually everybody just absolutely loves it. And they get into that, okay, no, I'm going to listen to some spa music. I'm just going to relax here. It's like my 15 minutes of the day that somebody's not, you know, calling me a million times or something. So I'm glad that you were able to relax.
Absolutely. It was so funny though, because you were saying certain things that like I couldn't respond to, and I was just like cracking up laughing under there. I'm like, I'm going to break this whole mask
Yes, exactly.
But it was like so lovely. Good. And yeah, the next morning I woke up and my skin was just glowing.
Perfect.
And yeah, I think it's so important to prioritize going to a professional after a lot of traveling and, just showing your skin some love and having that own self-love practice, because I think a lot of people they don't treat themselves. And I think it's important because especially your skin, it's like such an important organ.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people overlook it and they don't really care about their skin routines and they go to bed with their makeup on.
Yes.
So I think prioritizing it is really important.
It is.
Yeah.
And I love that you just said the self-love of that, because it honestly should be a daily self-love. Like there needs to be a skincare regimen in everybody's routine, I think. So hopefully we keep you on a nice regimen.
Yeah. So tell me what like a typical regimen would look like.
Okay.
Like the perfect regimen,
Sure.
maybe what you would put on my roster of skincare products.
Okay, perfect. So I absolutely love the line from Zio Abaji. I think that Dr. Abaji is just incredibly brilliant. That's what I mainly have at the Skin Bar. I've tried so many different lines, and there are some other incredible lines too, but I just find that this one is incredibly transformative for my patients. And I really get that text message in like 8 days after they start it. Like, you know what, Kristin, like, thank you so much for putting me on this. I might have, like resisted a little bit, but I'm so glad that we did it, because look at my skin now. And I can do such a better job at that. Like even with thinking about like what my social media can look like, I'm like, I have so many transformative patients that I really have to kind of show that a little bit more. So it's good to kind of be on this and talking about it, because it's giving me ideas too, to like bring what I can bring forward, you know?
Absolutely.
So everybody should really start their day with a cleanser of some sort. And then exfoliation.
Which, by the way, I think that there was a lot of noise out there on the internet for a while about people not washing their faces in the morning, like just like splashing cold water. So I started doing that, and I think that we all fall victim to this sometimes.
Sure.
We hear something on social media and we just start doing it.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to a practitioner and she was like, Veronica, you collect so many dead skin cells and dust and bacteria on your pillow and in your bed when you're sleeping. Like you need to remove that, because whenever you do your night routine, like your skin, it only takes like 4 to 6 hours for it to absorb all of the product. So like when you wash your face the next morning, like it's not going to remove that product. Like it's already absorbed into your skin.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that.
For sure. After you do the gentle cleanser, I absolutely love, this is like my holy grail product, is the exfoliating polish. So I don't know if you remember, but it was kind of like that gritty second step that I did of your facial.
Which I need to incorporate into my routine.
Yes, because like your practitioner that you were just talking to was saying that at night is when all of that collection of dead skin cells happen. So in the morning, let's really like exfoliate that off, right? And just kind of give your skin that glow that it wants. So I'll do that as my second step. And this is like a very simple routine, I'm telling you, because my skincare routine is about 12 steps.
Oh my gosh. It's like a Korean skincare system.
I'm obsessed with skincare though. So yeah, if I would, these are just like the 4 of what I would say for anybody who's maybe starting.
Right.
So that would be my second step. The third step I love is just like complexion pads of some type. So that have like a little bit of acids in it, some salicylic, keep everything at bay, keep everything just, that congestion we want to decrease. And then afterwards, you do need some type of moisturizer, nothing too occlusive. I actually love like the Daily Power. It's just a nice daily moisturizer that has some vitamins in it, gives it a little bit of nourishment, and it looks perfect underneath makeup. And it doesn't like cake your makeup, which I find is like really important.
For sure.
Because how many moisturizers have we tried that literally separates our makeup? And it's like, we don't want people to know how much makeup we have on anyway.
Right.
So I don't want my makeup to be separated. So so I just find that those are probably like the 4 that I would say is pretty simple. Anybody I think can do 4 steps, I hope.
Yeah.
Right?
Super achievable.
Yeah. And then for men, I kind of just break that down into 2 steps. So that's what I'll place my women on. And then if they want a little bit more, like some type of growth factor, there's other elements that I love to put into skincare. But if we're just doing like incredibly basic, then those are the 4 I would start with. And then the guys, I would just kind of do a combination of a cleanser and an exfoliating polish in one, which is one of the products that I have. And then I'll finish it off with that daily, just like that moisturizer for them.
Right.
Because 2 steps is enough.
That's enough.
Yes.
They can handle that.
Yes. I had my fiance on it and he absolutely loves it.
Oh my gosh. He's probably glowing.
Yes, he does. He's so handsome. And
he's ready for the wedding.
Yes. He's almost ready for the wedding.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, which is so soon.
I know, it's so soon. What have you been doing to prep, like skin wise?
Yes.
Or just anything that you want to share that you've been doing to prep for the big day?
Okay. Well, we just got engaged I guess 6 weeks ago or so.
Yeah.
And we already have our date for October. So I usually put my brides on a little bit of a larger treatment plan, but being that we're getting married within 3 months, I had to kind of dial that in a little bit. So I'm just sticking really well with my skincare. I'm doing microneedling, which I absolutely love. And I'm using PRP with it. So I have a nurse practitioner that works for me, Haley.
She's so sweet. I met her the other day.
Yes, she is the best. She's been with me actually since the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. She was one of my clients. And then she was like, Kristin, I need to work with you. Whatever we have to do this together. She was so interested. So she's just incredibly loyal. She's amazing.
That's so cool.
Patients love her. And she's wonderful. So she's an incredible addition that we have there. She's been doing some treatments to me. So, because I can't really do them to myself. Right. So it's nice that I have somebody.
I do see videos of people doing it to themselves, and it just scares me. I get
nervous.
Yeah, my heart stops because I don't know, something could really go wrong.
For sure. I've tried to do a lip flip on myself with a tiny bit of Botox, and if you can take a needle to your own skin and not flinch, I don't know what you do in your spare time, because I just find that is so incredibly I couldn't really do it. I was like, this is a little crazy. So I'm thankful that I have her to do it.
Oh my gosh. No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
This is such an amazing story. And I want to get back into it.
Yeah.
This, but in college, me and all my sorority sisters, we all got wax machines.
Oh my gosh.
And we would literally wax ourselves. And I don't know how we did that. I feel it's kind of
melt off your skin.
I don't know. It was so dangerous, and we should not have been doing that.
Yes.
But it kind of reminds me of that. It's if you can pull a wax strip off of yourself, it's going to be painful. It's not going to be probably very healthy. It's going to be a little dangerous. So I feel it's good to get somebody else that's a professional
for sure
to do it.
Yes.
So I think that's great that, even as a professional, you're getting another professional to do these services for you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That was super random. But
no, that's good.
I would share.
I love that. As long as you're not doing it anymore, we're fine.
No.
And we have the skin and everything's still on our bodies. So you got
here.
through it, right?
I got through it.
How many things do we do in college and stuff that we're just how did we make it through that?
I know. We're okay, how can I not
the
have to
plucking
pay
of
for
the
this?
eyebrows? What was that about?
I don't know.
I used to have the thinnest eyebrows.
Same.
Thank God.
It was a trend.
It was a trend.
Now you have beautiful eyebrows.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Yes. I love the thick bushy look. I'm very much into that right now.
I like it too.
Yeah.
What services are you getting?
Okay, yeah. So right now, just really focusing on the skin. So doing that microneedling. So she is getting my blood and spinning it actually in a centrifuge is basically what it's called. And it will separate my plasma, my growth factors, my stem cells. So we're needling that back into the skin. And what's incredible about it is you can actually also do, which we're doing on top of it, we're always doing my neurotoxin, just doing that Botox, making sure that's going to stay. Mm-hmm. And then I'm adding in something called Aqua Gold, which is something that we provide at the Skin Bar as well. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No, what is that?
It's fantastic. So it's these small little chambers, and it actually has multiple needles on it, and it infuses Botox and filler and all of these things into the skin, plus your PRP and growth factors. It's incredible. We have to do it.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're leaving. I would, okay, next time you come here, that has to be on our list.
Oh, for sure. Let's do it.
Okay.
I've been hearing a lot about are people doing that in their smile lines to help with preventing that? Because I think I've seen a few videos of that.
Yes.
And I find that to be really interesting because I'd love to get your opinion on injecting filler there.
Okay,
because I think that's kind of I don't know, a lot of people have different thoughts on that.
Totally.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what to do with preventing fine lines.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess when you're talking about prevention of fine lines, I definitely think that the microneedling is probably first for that.
Yeah, definitely.
And then when it comes to filler, that is totally something that back in the day, they used to put filler like directly into those smile lines.
Right. And people are still doing it.
I know, but you're kind of getting this like blowfish type of like look. And it's just so, you can just tell that something is not supposed to be there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I almost feel like it ages people a little bit.
Of course.
Yeah. And that's just my like personal preference. There's some people that have it where I'm like, oh, like they look beautiful, you know?
Sure.
But I actually did it one time because somebody did it to me.
Yeah.
There was like extra filler. I was getting lip filler and they like just kind of injected it there without like really mentioning anything. And the way it metabolized, like I started noticing like a lot of migration and like almost like that it was more prominent afterwards.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, it's always been interesting to me, like how people go about doing that as a service.
Yeah, because you have to, like, you're getting the heaviness like so close to your mouth. So instead, thankfully, we have come up with the better technique of how to place filler. So you actually kind of want to do that lift instead, right? So we want to lift the cheek first before we're putting anything into the smile lines. So before I do the nasolabial fold, because that's actually what it's called, I'll always lift the cheek up first and I'll say, okay, well, this is what it will look like if just lifting the cheek. We can go ahead and put a little bit of filler here, but it is incredibly minimal amounts. And it's only if somebody has like still deepness after we've already lifted, right? So we definitely go to areas first before going to the nasolabial or the smile lines.
Yeah. What do you think is a good age to start doing filler if it's something that you're interested in doing?
Okay, so this is a question that I get all the time, and it honestly is such a personal preference, and it really just depends on what your patient looks like. So I get like, Kristin, you know, I'm in my 20s, should I start Botox? Well, I started really young, so I started about like 21, but I was also like ready to get into the medical industry and I was around it so much. And I also did have some lines. So I was like, okay, well, I just want to do this. I'm not really doing it for prevention. I actually can see them. So I would say just come in for a consult. We just have to talk about it. And we just kind of have to see whether you're, you know, if you're in your 20s, regardless if you're in your 50s or 60s, I still start some people there. I would have loved for them to start younger, but there's never a time that they can't begin and, you know, start helping their skin.
Right. Yeah. I definitely feel like it is individual to each person because I've had friends that have started very, very young and they had fine lines like very prematurely. So I think I started about like 24, like getting Botox. And I think it's amazing.
Yes, I know. When people are like, I'll never do it, I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's okay. And to each their own. Yeah, absolutely. But I think that some people say that and then, you know, in a couple of years later, they're like, you know what? I said I would never do it. And I have people that just come into me all the time and they're like, I never would have thought that I would be in a chair like this. Like, I can't believe I'm getting needles in my face today. And, you know, I just make them as comfortable as possible and just say, you know, like, this is, of course, like something that's elective. So if it's something that you want to do, and there are other alternatives, like I was kind of just telling you. So if you don't want some toxin or some filler, totally fine. There's other ways like the microneedling and, you know, those facials that we can kind of just stay on top of your skin, but not having to be as invasive. Right. We just can do some baby steps too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I started getting masseter Botox after struggling with TMJ.
My favorite.
It's my favorite thing ever.
Obsessed.
And I like wish more people knew about it because I have a friend who has really bad TMJ.
Yes.
And we were at dinner and she was just talking about how bad it had gotten and how she felt like she had tried everything. And I was like, well, have you tried masseter Botox? And she was like, no, like, what's that? And I was like, hold on. Like, I'm not an expert, but like, clench your jaw for me. And I was like feeling her muscle. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh my God. I was like,
huge.
You're the perfect candidate.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I'm not an expert. Like, go to a med spa.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like, if anybody's listening that like struggles with that, like you can literally clench your jaw and like feel like the sides of your jaw and like,
or some people when they're like eating and you can like hear that clicking or anything like that too. Definitely. I absolutely love masseter talks. I don't go 3 months without it. So like I'm every 3 months on the dot. I'm like, nope, I could feel a little something. Right. They do atrophy a little bit, better, I think, than kind of like the other muscles of the face. Like it'll take a little bit longer for them to come back full force.
Right.
But if you're having any type of problems, or even if you want to just slim your face a little bit, I actually love it for both purposes. So yes, I have really bad clenching, and I clench at night and I grind my teeth a little bit. So it's completely taken that away.
Yeah.
And then also I love to do it for the slimming effect.
The best.
Yes, because I would be so much more rounded, and I'm pretty much heart-shaped because of it.
Yeah, you have a great face shape.
Thanks.
It's crazy because my dentist was trying to give me a mouth guard. That's how bad it had gotten. And I was just grinding my teeth and like it had all the issues. But yeah, I think the face slimming is a huge added bonus. I look back at photos of myself before I started getting it, and I'm like I look completely different.
Yeah.
But in the best way. Like I feel like so confident.
For sure.
And,
no, I love that. You have such a great like bone structure and everything. Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Me too. Thanks. So what other services like that people may not be super familiar with do you guys offer? Because I feel like there's like a lot of fun stuff out there.
There is. There's so much fun stuff. We do stuff with like hair regeneration too and restoration.
Yeah, I feel like you have a lot of male clients
We
too.
do.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting because I get asked that all the time too. It's like, well, what is your like ratios? And I'm like, I see a lot of guys. Like there's tons of them, And I even have like some good guy friends that are just like, okay, well, I'm looking a little old right now. I'm like, all right, like, come on in.
Come on in.
And yeah, I just think that there's so many different treatments to do. So whether male or female, female go through like kind of like some hair thinning as well. So we love some hair restoration, kind of taking that PRP and injecting that into the hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you mind explaining what PRP is to people that might not know?
Yeah. So it's platelet-rich plasma. And basically how you get it is that we're going to take your blood just like you were at a doctor's office. And then we put it into something called a centrifuge, which actually separates like your plasma, your white blood cells, your red blood cells, gives us all of that. It's called like the liquid gold. It's a golden color, and it has like your stem cells in it and your growth factors, all the things to nourish. So you can place that and you can put that into the hair. You can put that into the skin with microneedling. You can put it into actually like genital area for increase of lubrication and also increase of sexual function. So we do that as well. So yeah, there's a space for so many things in a med spa. And I just think that kind of like the sky's the limit right now because people are just getting so much more knowledgeable about this and just regeneration's happening. So we do something called Sculptra as well, which is actually, it's a biostimulator. And I thankfully have like a little bit of a name here in Nashville. It's like the Nashville Booty Queen.
Oh my gosh, no way.
I do a ton of booties.
Really?
Yes, that red carpet, everything. Yes, exactly.
Nashville Booty Queen.
Yeah,
I'm not calling you Kristin anymore.
No, that's it. You could just call me by a nickname. Perfect. The Booty Queen.
The Booty Queen. I'm obsessed.
But I'm like fixing some hip dips and just actually other areas that have crepiness above the knees. Some people that get lipo, like within the arms, the lipo itself, like when you take the fat away, that skin is so crepey. So I've been doing that a lot between the breast, just where that crepiness kind of gets with that sun damage.
Right.
So yeah, we are doing a ton at the Skin Bar and so exciting.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't realize all the modalities that go into that. And that's
for sure. It's not just the face. We're treating the whole body now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the whole body, I know that you've been doing like all these really cool programs for your wedding prep.
Yes.
So tell us more about that.
Okay. I'm just on this journey about like how I can get in the best shape in the almost least amount of time.
You look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And to be honest, like we're still doing everything. Like we just got back from Italy. We actually got engaged in Lithuania. So we were like eating in Lithuania and Italy and all these other places. And I felt like I totally took like a step back from my wellness for a second. But you have to enjoy life. So what are you going to do, right? Even though you're walking every day, I was getting gelato 3 times a day. So when I got back, I was like, you know what? I really want to get back to a place where I'm eating really healthy and then just working out every day, moving my body. And you actually know the app that I'm using right now, don't you?
Yeah. Form.
Yeah.
So I just had on the director of operation, Shelby Silva, perform on the show. So
yeah. So I just did my 14-day reset. So I'm done with that.
Oh my gosh.
And now I'm on like the Pilates strength training. I think it's going to be a couple weeks. So I'm going to do that for like 6 weeks or so.
Oh my gosh. And they have some great programs on there.
Yeah, no, they do. It really
there's
do.
Like nutrition and meditation.
Yes. And then I loved it so much that I actually was like, Mom, I'm actually getting you this too. So I got her the app also. So we're on the same day at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's like we're motivating each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, did you finish your day 7 yet?
That's so cute.
Yeah. So we've, the whole family's on this wellness journey. You know, my dad's walking every day. He's always at the gym. I have a very fit family.
That's amazing.
Yes. And thankfully my fiance is very fit and he like loves health and just wellness. So he's, you know, we're all sweating for the wedding over here.
Sweating for the wedding. No, I think it's so great how you're so close with your family. And you even mentioned how your dad came down here to like, help you build out the skin bar.
Oh,
so I feel like it's great to have a support system. And I think that's what honestly is such a backbone for successful entrepreneurs, having that support system.
Oh, for sure.
And I think like as you get older, you really have to start prioritizing like more boundaries with people and who's serving you and like who's positively uplifting you. And do you feel like that's something that you've like had to kind of navigate as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I were to go into like even thinking about like relationships, I found that being that entrepreneur, you know, at the end of the day, it was kind of a little bit intimidating for certain guys as well. And I was like, okay, well, I just have to wait for like the right one because somebody's not going to be intimidated by me. You know, they're going to be like more uplifting and wanting to, you know, be more supportive. And thankfully, that's like Brian to a T. He is so supportive. I mean, from the very first conversation we had when I told him about the skin bar, I was kind of nervous on like what he would kind of think about it because yes, it is a little bit of, it's kind of just one of those things that it's like a scary thing to be, right? An entrepreneur is just a little scary at times. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, how do you feel about this? Because one day, can it just go away? Yeah, of course. Like, absolutely. I would hope it wouldn't, but that's still a conversation that we have to have. And he's incredibly supportive. And my parents, when I tell you that since I literally was little, my dad has just called me like little sparrow. So he lets me like spread my wings. Yeah. That's what we say
little
to each
sparrow,
other.
Nashville booty queen.
Yes. Yeah. All the nicknames. I just have all of them.
I love it.
My parents have been just incredibly supportive of me. And when I was building the skin bar, my dad did like live with me down here for like 3 months. And he came to the skin bar with me every day and he would talk to them. And when we walked into the skin bar, it like had no ceiling. Like we had to absolutely gut the entire thing. So I'm so proud of like what it actually turned out to be.
It's amazing.
Thanks.
It's so beautiful in there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that just goes to show when you have like a support system and you have people that are by your side wanting to like see you achieve your dreams, good things happen along the way. So it's important to like prioritize who you put into your circle. And I think like having a supportive family is like so incredible. And it's great that he was like able to be a part of the business as well.
Yes.
And that's like a memory that you guys will always have together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even my friends that I keep now, you know, we have gone through so many stages of life. And I feel like at the end of the day, when you're at like a certain level, your circle is so much smaller. I used to like want to have all the friends and now I'm like, okay, I'll have 5. Like I'm totally fine with just having that smaller circle.
Right.
And we kind of just those like-minded individuals. So I love that.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I think just like prioritizing nesting to an extent is so good for like self-preservation too. Because we can get really overwhelmed whenever we do like expand our circle to like the masses and make ourselves like readily available to everyone.
Totally.
It's not only draining, but I think sometimes you can attract those like emotional vampires. And I think it's great to just make sure that you're very level-headed about who and what energy you're bringing into your life.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Energy's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can like feel it all the time. Like if somebody's just having like an off day, I'm like, I could feel that energy.
I have to go.
Right? I gotta go. I'll see you later.
They're stressed. I can't be around this. I'm busy. I love that. But yeah, no, I think like you were just such an admirable person, because I think it takes a lot to just completely break away from like your norm and start something of your own. What advice would you give to somebody that is looking to enter this new chapter of life, maybe like change their current circumstances and just blossom and spread their sparrow wings?
Yes. And I think that that's perfect to say. I honestly just think that if you have any type of dream, there's no reason to not go after it, right? Even my dad has always said, like, at the end of the day, regardless of whether you're so successful, it's still you're still at least doing it, right? Like, no matter where it brings you to, like, at least you took that step. So fine. Like, okay. One of my favorite quotes is, she believed she could, so she did. And another one I love is that, okay, well, if you jump, what if I fall? But then it's like, okay, but what if you fly? So just do it. I know. I love that one. Literally. I mean, those are like the two quotes that I live by. So yeah, I mean, I would just say to go after your dreams. And if you have, it would be really great if they do have that support system, but if they don't, still go after them too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you're very spiritual.
Yes.
I feel like you probably, I'm just making an assumption, I feel like you probably see like birds and things a lot, because like it's related to like you, your childhood, your life. Ladybugs.
Oh my gosh. If Brian,
things that fly.
Yes. We literally, and they kind of like follow me around everywhere, to the point that he's like, this is getting a little kind of like weird. Like, why do they follow you so much? I'm just like, they just do.
I had a really weird experience the other day. I saw like 2 white butterflies, and it was like a pretty challenging day. It's like a holiday that like brings up a lot of memories, and I saw 2 white butterflies, and I was like, I don't remember the last time I like saw a white butterfly. And I think it's cool to like see different forms of nature and look at it with a bigger purpose. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Yeah.
But we actually went to get matcha lattes before this, and we got them with coconut milk, which was really good.
And the first time.
Yeah. Except I will say, I was telling you this, a lot of people don't know how to make matcha correctly. And I got mine hot, you got yours ice, so they were a little different. But some people will boil the water and then like immediately pour it on top of the matcha, and it actually makes it like really bitter. So that's just a little tip for anyone that's making their matcha lattes at home. Wait till it cools off a bit. But we prayed over our meal. You prayed over our meal. And I thought that was just so special. And I wish more people did that. And not only just to connect with their higher power, but also for your parasympathetic system. There's like such a calming, just relaxation feeling while doing that before you dive into a meal. And I think it's great for your digestion. And that was just really cool. I like wanted to point out that was really, really great.
I'm so glad that you enjoyed that. I think it's just, our lives are so busy. So at the second that we're just about to have that meal, I just find that that's like that perfect moment that we can just have like that moment of gratitude and just thankfulness. So I just always would love to just kind of start that way.
Yeah. And I love it because we met 2 days ago. And I love how you felt like comfortable doing that too. And I think that just like speaks volumes to like your confidence too, and like just your overall gratitude. What are some ways that you think women can start to gain more confidence? Because I think as a practitioner, we always see this on social media, like the comparison and all of those things. And I'm sure that's something that you deal with a lot in your practice, is people coming in, like maybe showing you photos of somebody else. And like, what would you say to them, like somebody in that position? Because I'm sure it's incredibly difficult for you, and like finding the right words is probably
absolutely challenging. And as a practitioner, I really, because I see so many people a day, and we're looking at their face in the mirror, and we could be so critical of ourselves.
For sure, we're our own worst critics.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always like to make sure that they point out, though, what their favorite part of them is.
I love that.
Because then I can enhance that as well, right? So we say, okay, you know, at the end of the day, like, come on in, like, they'll introduce themselves to me. And yes, we'll go over what their imperfection that they find for themselves is. But then I want to know, okay, well, what part of you makes you feel beautiful also? Because I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't point out that, because I just feel like that would be just a completely like almost negative visit, right? Like if you're not going to point out something of beauty on somebody. So I always love to say that. And every single person is so beautiful. So there are so many features. I see you, you know, entirely with how you see yourself. Also, like you see you in 2D, I see it in 3D. Like what you might see on your face, it could be something that I would say, we don't really need to touch that, but let's look at something else. Or maybe I would even say no in general. I do say no sometimes because somebody might come in with bigger lips than what they really should have for themselves. And you have to think about that also as body image and with social media and everything with those photos. And thankfully the Kylie Jenner kind of went out the window, but that was hard for me at the time because these people were, you know, my beautiful patients were wanting these huge lips to have this look-alike. And I'm like, that's just not what your face can even, your structure of your face cannot even support that. But yeah, I just feel like that kind of comes from within. And I guess I would say, you know, I would hope that they would have some type of like relationship to God as well, right? Just like to, you know, be thankful and have gratitude for like the person that they are. There's so many different ways I feel like. How have you tried to expand your confidence?
I think just like embracing uniqueness.
What you have. Yeah.
I think for the longest time, I was like so insecure about my nose growing up. I have a very ethnic Greek nose. And it was something that I was like kind of like bullied for whenever I was a kid. So I think it took me a long time to really start appreciating it.
For sure.
And there were so many times where, I don't even think I've ever admitted this, but there were so many times where I would like talk to people about consults and like potentially like go in, and I would never go. But it like took me a while to like really understand that I didn't want to look like everybody else. Like that was my like one defining feature that like made me different. So I think it's just like about embracing those unique qualities about yourself and looking at it from a lens of beauty as opposed to a lens of comparison. And I love this quote. It's obviously everybody's heard the comparison is the thief of joy, but I really like this version of it. And it's comparison destroys personality.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Because I think that's what's also really important. Again, energy and like being able to express yourself. And I think a lot of that stems from confidence and being able to be comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
And I also think that's why aesthetics are great too, because if there is something that you are a little insecure about, there is a way to change that and have like a natural appearance with it as well. So I think that's great that that's something that you do at your practice and that you like people to point out the qualities they like about themselves.
Yeah, I love that part. And I love to keep everybody just as natural as possible. I think that people even appreciate when they come to me. They're like, well, you're very natural. What kind of things do you do? And I'm like, okay, well, we can keep as natural as possible. I think that that's kind of like the way to go with it. But to just, have you feeling better in your own skin. I want people to walk out and just feel so confident. I have people cry sometimes. It's just like, this was life-changing for me. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
it's probably such a validating feeling too. To
for sure.
Be a part of that person's experience in a way that is like so substantial to their confidence levels and just like feeling self-assured in their own skin. So that's really, really beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Really two last things I want to bring up. I know you just got an allergy test the other day. And as a fellow allergen girly, I'd love to hear more about your experience because I feel like whenever I talk about my experience to people, they're like, how in the world is this possible?
I know.
And then there's people that are non-believers. So I'm so glad to be connected with somebody that also has a ton of allergies because it is a struggle.
Yeah.
And I think that also goes hand in hand with skin health. If you're eating and consuming a lot of things that like you are allergic to, like I'm sure your skin is probably trying to purge it and it could lead to breakouts and all that. So
that is still a journey that I am unfortunately on. I just got my skin test for allergy testing like 3 days ago. So after I saw you, I was like, when you got your skin test, were you like exhausted after? Because it really does take like so much of my energy, just because I was completely inflamed that they actually at the office, they were about to give me epi because I was allergic to so many different things. And that's it's completely distracting because when I'm at restaurants, it's like one of the first things that I think about. I'm like, are they paying attention to me? But yeah, it does come out in the skin. I do get some type of like rashes sometimes or like those hives. And that's kind of when I started to say, okay, well, this was 4 years ago. I literally became allergic to things overnight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like ridiculous.
Oh, so you weren't born with it?
I was not. No, It was about 4 or 5 years ago.
That's so interesting.
I know.
I wonder where that stems from. Probably like stuff they put in our food.
I was just going to say, probably stuff that they put in our food.
Yeah.
It did happen to my grandma too. Like when she was in her 30s, she became allergic to shellfish pretty quickly. She just all of a sudden like her throat closed when she was eating a scallop. So similar story kind of to me.
Sad.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, so similar story to me, but I would say that that's something that I also, since I'm on this journey, I would love to bring that for patients. And I feel like as a nurse practitioner, I'm almost doing a disservice in some ways because I can really be making more of a difference. So that's something that I'm really passionate about bringing on as well. That's just like a little sneak peek of what I have
I'm
in.
excited.
Yes. Because it's helping me. And I just feel like if I'm on this journey, there's probably so many people. And to be honest, like my DMs get flooded when I am putting something about that up because they're like, where are you going? What can I do? Because it's really kind of discouraging, right?
Right.
Like that's how I feel about it. So I'm still on this journey and we're going to just get through it together.
I love that. Yeah. We've all been like bullied by a waiter before, or
Yes.
like a friend at dinner about, it's like, discouraging. That's a great word. But
exactly.
Yeah. I think it's really important for people to be aware of their allergens and even their food intolerances because it can really affect your body negatively. So I think that's great.
And the bloating and everything else is just like, I mean, I looked like I was like 3 months pregnant and I was just like, this is not even, this isn't even what my body looks like. And it's not what it feels like either. So I need to kind of detox and to do something. And I'm just I did a parasite cleanse.
Oh, well, how was that?
That was so interesting. That was so incredibly interesting. You have to like do it with the full moon. Like there's like a whole thing about it. Yeah.
I love like the moon cycles and how like we're like so connected to that as women. I think it's so interesting.
Yes. Yeah. It was incredibly interesting. And I will say that it was wild to see. It was wild.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I bet.
If you've never done one, I feel like
really
you should probably do it. Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
When's the next full moon?
I think no, it's not soon. We just had one last week. But
well, you can prepare yourself for it then.
I will mentally prepare.
Yeah.
And then
let me know how it goes.
I will. I'll have to get all of your recs for which ones to do.
Yes. Yeah.
But last question for you.
Okay.
I feel like we could talk forever.
We can.
But
I know. I feel so I can't believe we just met 2 days ago.
I know. I feel like we're like best.
I'm like, when are you coming here next?
I forgot we were recording too.
I know. We're just talking. I know. I can't wait to go to New York.
Oh my gosh, I know.
For all my dress fittings. I'm like, so what are you doing that week?
Oh my gosh, I know. We're going to hang out. It's going to be lovely.
100%.
But I ask all my guests this question and I love how unique everybody's answers are because I feel like the world is your oyster with this question.
Oh.
So if you were to drink a martini in a bikini,
yes,
where would you be and what would you be drinking?
Oh, okay. So does it have to be like a martini or can it just be a cocktail?
It can just be like anything.
That I love?
Anything that you love. We'll just like throw it in a martini glass.
Okay. Well, I love a coupe or a martini glass for everything.
Same.
And
I love a coupe.
The bee's knees is my literal favorite drink. I don't know if you've ever had it, but it's going to be our wedding cocktail.
That is so cute. I feel like I've had it somewhere.
Have you?
It sounds familiar, but remind me what it is.
Okay. So it's gin and lemon and like a honey syrup.
Yum.
And it is so simple, but it is incredible. And we literally make it all the time at home.
Oh my gosh.
And that is like my version. And then instead, Brian will actually do like a whiskey. So you can do that too. And that's called the Gold Rush. So those are 2 of our like wedding drinks. And then where would I be? Oh, I feel like I need to be somewhere with a bee's knees. Like maybe I need to be on like a beach in Capri or something.
Obsessed with that.
Right?
That sounds amazing.
Perfect.
Yes.
That's going to be my answer.
And you're going to have like fresh beehive.
Yes.
Honey.
100%.
From
The
Italy.
honeycombs from Italy. Yes.
I don't know if they have that.
No, they do. They really do.
Well, they have
We
it
went
everywhere,
to
I guess.
Tuscany,
Yeah.
and first of all, I still have honey because I got it like by a jar this big. We were like, where are we going to put this in the suitcase? I'm like, I don't know where we're going to put it, but it's going to fit. And it has like honeycomb in it. And when we were in Tuscany, they had like the big pieces of honeycomb. And I was just, on a cracker with a little bit of cheese. How could you not?
That sounds amazing.
It was amazing.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I would actually be there with the same thing, having that same bite also.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Kristin.
Thanks
This was
for
so fun,
having
especially
me.
last minute like this.
Yeah.
This was so
no,
fun.
this is perfect.
It was
No, I'm so
spontaneous.
excited. Listen, I love a little spontaneity.
Also, like, you've been driving me around, which is hysterical. You like drove me back to the hotel after the appointment. You picked me up for the podcast interview.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're just so sweet.
Those were just not even like scheduled though.
No.
I'm like, do you need a ride?
I know. And I was like, have you been on a podcast before? You're like, yeah. I was like, do you want to come on mine?
Of course I do.
Here we are.
Why would I not?
But I would love for you to share how people can be friends, how they can connect,
Yes.
how they can visit the skin bar,
Yes.
or how they can just learn more about what you're doing.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
How they can just hang out.
Yeah, I would just love for them to kind of follow me on some type of social media. So we have I'm Enhanced by Kristin. Then there's also the Skin Bar with _CO. We have on there, you can pretty much find me anywhere because you'll find the phone number there. You'll find our email address,
Great.
whatever questions we have, send me a DM. I'd love to meet and treat everybody. So yeah, just find me.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for coming on. This was such an
Thank
amazing
you. Oh my
episode.
gosh.
And I'm so excited for everybody
Yes.
to listen to this and just learn more about their own skin journeys,
Yeah.
how to boost their confidence.
I love
all
that.
those things.
Confidence.
Yes.
is key.
Yes. Well, if you guys like this episode, please feel free to like, rate, and subscribe to Martinis and Bikinis on Spotify or Apple Podcast. I'll love you forever, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.